There are salespeople that always seems to have a full pipeline. And then you have other salespeople that seems to struggle to have any lead at all, any opportunity at all in the pipeline. Today, we're going to look at the 8 rules to create a world-class pipeline. And it all starts with FATE. Not the word fate, but the acronym FATE. And this stands for F, as in having a relentless focus. A, having to constantly assess your situation. T, looking at your time management and your cadence. And E, on execution. Just do it. Do the right things right. Now, what are these 8 rules? The first rule is that you look at what works. Because when you want to build up that world-class pipeline, no need to throw away everything. There are things that you do right today. It also looks, however, at what are your colleagues and your peers doing and what works for them, and see how can you integrate it in your day-to-day work. The second rule is that you focus your activity on the right customers. And what does it mean? So it's absolutely crucial that you build a list of core prospects that you will target based on the ICPs that you have, based on the successes that you have. For example, if you have 5 huge references in insurance, that you build a list consistent of the major insurance companies. And then you start working on them, spend the right amount of time on them. It also means that you have more than one contact in them. So when you look at the activity, it means building that network within those prospects. It doesn't mean having one connection, one contact with them. No, your activity is in building that network, building up your champions, building up everything that you can do to make your case with that prospect. By the way, that also means that you spend the right amount of time to the right amount of prospects, not just in the number, but also even if there are small opportunities, that you give them the utmost respect and that you spend a lot of time on them. First of all, they deserve that respect. And secondly, they can be the start for huge upsells in the future. Well, when you look at an example from my experience, one of the territories that we were working in, 40% of their revenue came from the health sector. Once we realized this, we started to build campaigns around that health sector. And within 6 months, our revenue also doubled in the other territories. So it really is important to look at the analysis and then focus that activity on then the right customers. Rule number 3 is to be consistent. It might sound simple, but build a cadence and stick to that cadence. Focus on closing when the end of quarter is there, but also stay focused on constantly building that prospecting. Don't forget, you're in charge, and don't let yourself be led by, for example, emails. In my experience, the best sellers, they don't even look at their email until noon. And you might say, hey, what if the mail is important? They manage their own time. They manage their own schedule. So they don't let themselves being distracted by things like emails or pings. The fourth rule is to stick to the process. It is crucial that you don't start cutting corners. Again, under the umbrella doing the right things right, it is important that you don't rush to a close. So when you're not ready for a discovery and your prospect is already asking for a pricing, then stick to the process. Unless you work in a very transactional business, then very often when you're not ready with your discovery, you don't have the right information anyways to build a valid proposal within the scope that you have identified. The fifth rule is to be honest with yourself. And what does this mean? It means that you understand how you're spending your time in creating and progressing the pipeline. So start mapping the time you spend, how much time you're spending on administration, on filling on the other details, and so forth. Sixth rule, be a trusted advisor. And for me, this is one that will push the needle the most. Because don't be a seller just to sell and to close. These days, buyers are very well informed in general. At least they have an opinion about the role, about where the market is going. They read research reports and so forth. And real top salespeople, they can position their solutions, their products, and themselves as a trusted advisor. So they talk from a point of view from unique insights, where they know the market, where they know the trends, and how to position their solution within this. So they become a real subject matter expert. So you need to understand, and your prospect need to understand why you matter, why they should listen to you. The seventh rule is to use your tools. Sales roles have become extremely intense. So we do growth marketing activities, project management. We are a coordinator to get the resources that we need. We need to be that subject matter expert. We still need to be the closer. And data and tech have become crucial in this. So let those tools work for you. When you have that administration task of putting the stuff in the CRM, do it because it will help you building up those insights that you need to do the right things right. And then you can learn from it based on the impact. And then you can adjust your behavior and you can do much more in implementing and using that tech. And the last rule is do the reps. You have got to do the reps to become a better seller. I unfortunately meet quite some salespeople that intellectually understand what they need to do, but then they don't do it. And then they miss the quarter. And then there's the sad face after the quarter. Yes, I know what I need to do and so forth, but they don't do it. If you want to be successful in selling, if you want to become a better salesperson, then you need to do the reps. And that was it. Let me know how useful it was in building up that world-class pipeline. And as always, give me a thumbs up, share it if you think somebody else can use this information, and best of luck.